Hi everyone, I'm Frankie de Meyer. We'll have a look at the blog capability of the VersaNode platform. I use my own website for this, frankiedemeyer.versanode.com. Frankie de Meyer is my domain. It's a subdomain of versanode.com. And in my domain, all information is stored. That's not only information for the website, but a lot of additional information as well. Now, to access this information, I visit my own domain. I'm logged in, and pressing the menu button, I have access to the data desk. The data desk is a behind-the-scenes view of all the data that's available in my domain. And one of those items are blog posts. When I click on blog, initially you can see that the list is empty, which means I don't have any blog posts yet. At the top right, next to the cancel and save button, we have the delete and the add button, which is a plus. I'll click the plus button, and you can see that in the list, a first item appears, a first blog post item. I select it by clicking it, and in the right-hand panel, I can get a form which allows me to edit the most important properties of the blog post. First of all, there's the status. All blog posts start with the draft status, which means that we are able to create and update the blog behind the scenes, but it's not accessible yet from the outside. Once we're finished and we want to make it accessible, we can move the status to the active state. And once we find the blog post no longer relevant and want to stop it being accessible from the outside, we can move it to the archived state, which means it's still available to us, but it can't be accessed from the outside. Alternatively, we can delete it completely. Now, we'll start out with the draft status and create a short title and description. Title is something up to 12 words or so. Description is a bit longer, a few phrases will do, but I'm just going to type one to make it a little quicker. And finally, we can select a thumbnail, a header picture for the blog post. We can select the link and select a file from the file system, or alternatively, we can just drag an image, for instance, in my case, from the desktop to the upload panel. That's it. We have created our first blog post. You can see at the top right, there's an edit content button, but I'm not going to click it just yet. I'm just going to click save, which will save all the work that we've done, which means creating a new blog post and setting the basic properties. Now, I have a second tab open for my website as well. We'll just use that to check what the site looks like. And you can see that after a refresh, well, basically nothing's happened. We don't see any blog appear, whatever. Nothing's visible. And this makes sense because all that we've done is we've used the data desk to create a blog, which is just an item that's part of our domain. But we haven't decided to what we're going to do with it or where we're going to view this. Now, the most obvious place where we want to view this is in our website. There might be other places where we want to use it. Perhaps we don't want to show it in our website, but we want to create email mailings from it or something else. There might be all sorts of things that you want to do with a blog and a blog post. But in our case, we actually want to make it viewable from our website. So I'm going to click Websites. I click my website and then the Edit Content button, which brings me in the factory area, the factory system, where we can compose rich content. In the toolbox, you can see that we can create new web pages that are generic and that we can fill ourselves with any content that we want. But there's also the possibility for a blog page. So that's what I want. I want to add a blog page to my website, and let's say that I want to have it between models and contact. You can see that I can't go any deeper because the blog page takes care of everything itself. When we look at the properties, we see that the menu title blog is fine. The path where you can reach the blog is also fine. And it would be good and advisable to enter a description and keywords here for search engine optimization, but we're not going to do this at this stage. All right, so what we've done is we have added a blog page to our website. I'm going to click Save again. We go to the other tab where we view our website. I refresh, and we can see that indeed between models and contact that a new menu item has been added. That's what we've done, blog. I click it, and you can see that the blog is empty. This makes sense. Why? If we go back to our blog, and the first post that we've created, we can see that the status is still draft, which means we want to hide it. If I make the status active and I save, and then I go back and refresh the site, we can see that there's a first blog item being added. This is just a card which is showing the title that we have chosen, as well as a short description and the date when we have published this. Now, when I click the blog post to actually view the contents, you will see that, well, we get the title, we get the description, but that's pretty much all. So there's no real blog content available. That's what we're going to do next. Go back. We set the status back to draft and save, which means we're hiding the blog post while we will be editing the content. I click Edit Content, and you can see that the same factory UI appears that we are used to for building a website, because a blog post is essentially just a custom web page that we are creating. So we can do all sorts of things in there. We can have maps, we can have all sorts of UI components from third parties. We can add images, video, etc. Now for the demo, I'm just going to add a quote and a section. So we start out with the quote. Let's make it full width. And the quote text will be something like this. And then we have the first section. We also make it full width. Very well. That's it. So we've created some content for our blog. We can now go back one step with the back button. And now we change the status to active and we save. If we now go back and we visit the blog post, we can see that indeed we still get the title, we still get the description, but we now also get the real content of the blog. So this is a first one. I'm just going to go back to the overview page. We'll just quickly create a second blog post. We'll set it active, second. And, well, for now, we'll just give it the same header picture. Very well. We save. And now you can see here, if we refresh the blog section that we have 2 blog posts. So the full page will be filled. I can give another example from our test site here. I'm showing it because it has a few more blog posts. As you can see, as soon as you have 3, that the row will be filled with those 3, and then the rest will be wraparound. I'm showing this because I want to give a tip regarding the header image. The best type of header image is something that has the main item rather at the center and has some space all around it. Why? Because websites have to be responsive nowadays, which means that they should look good on both a mobile phone as well as on a big, huge screen on a desktop. This means that the size and the proportions of the elements can vary wildly depending on the device that it's being shown on, and the size of your thumbnail will match this context, and some parts will be hidden depending on this. So I'm just going to reduce the size of the window so you can see what I mean. So I'm making the window narrower. You can see that vertical space is being reduced from the items. This is something that's required for the simple reason that we have to make content look good on any page. So this is what it would look like, for instance, on a mobile device. You can see that it's quite narrow at this stage. So that's just a little hint for when you are selecting your header image. That's it for our introduction of blog posts. So 2 phases. First phase is that you create your blog posts, 1 or more, that you make sure to set them active when you're ready for them to go active. And the second part is to go to your website and decide where you want your blog post to be positioned. And all active blog posts will automatically be shown in it. That's it. Thank you.